Hey everybody, I am near Point Steady Elementary. I'm using a new gimbal today, so bear with me. Alright, I'm going to take you for a little walkabout in a new neighborhood. So that is Foothill, the bottom of Hidden Valley area. And I am on Victoria, and this street is Albion Avenue. And this is a quiet, sleepy little neighborhood. Even though you are near Foothill, Victoria, and then at the bottom side, Loma Vista, it's a pretty quiet neighborhood. There's not people driving through because you can't really use this as a shortcut to get to anywhere else. So, a lot of people have been asking me, or rather telling me, that this is a crazy market. And I always love when people say that. Oh, it's a crazy market. How you guys doing? Well, in what aspect of it do you think it's crazy? I mean, what we've seen over the last few years has been crazy. So, is it crazy or is it normal at this point? I have a casual buyer who's looking for something on the hillside. Not in any rush to buy. They've got kids in school that will be graduating in May, and so they're looking to move sometime after that, but they're not in any hurry. So I sent another listing of something that had came up on the hillside, and she says to me, "What's the market like? Have prices come down?" Well, yes and no. It really depends on your situation. So when people ask me, how's the market doing? I say, well, do you want to know as a buyer, as a seller, or as an investor? Because the answer is going to be different for all three. As far as she's concerned, she wants a deal. She wants something that's going to, be worth it in the long run. I think the best time to find a deal was a couple months ago. October, November, December were pretty slow, and typically they are slow, but that doesn't mean that there aren't people out there looking. Of course, I purchased a house. We closed in December, and there were multiple offers on it. Did we get a good price? Yes, but was it so amazing that... Oh, you guys, this is one of my favorite things about this neighborhood. Look at this. Gotta stop myself and interrupt myself because there's cows. Look at them all. They're so cute. Okay, so that's the coolest thing about this neighborhood. You've got this hillside of undeveloped homes. Now, there's homes over here in the Skyline development, and there's homes to the right in Hidden Valley, and then past that on Delando, okay? But right here is this pocket where you can see things like cows. Oh my gosh, it's my favorite thing. You guys, now I want a cow so bad. My husband thinks I'm crazy, but every time we pass, he's like, look, there's cows. And there's a couple of babies up there on the mountain right now. We've seen a couple babies, and they're so cute. Anywho, getting back to it. There are still multiple offers because this is California, okay? If you price a property too high, yeah, sure, it'll sit on the market. But if you price a property accordingly, you're gonna have people interested in it, pretty much no matter where it is. So, I think that you have to make the numbers work for you. I've got this couple and they're looking for something. This will be their first home, and they have a certain budget, and with that certain budget you're either going to find a really poor condition fixer, or you're going to need to find a condo or some sort of place. The thing is, they don't have any more money, and the parents are only willing to help up to a certain price. Well, that's totally fine. But don't postpone getting into the market just because you are worried, that it's not your perfect place. I'm trying to think of a better way to say this. Okay, if they invested in a condo, okay, they got into the market, they purchased something. Now, instead of that rent money going away and only being able to save just a couple dollars a month, there's not going to be any big windfall for them. Okay, they're not going to, have a big contract pay off, their salaried workers. So there's not going to be a time in the future where they're going to get an extra 50 grand or an extra 100 grand. Okay, they're going to save a small amount per month. Okay. If they had purchased a condo or townhome, something smaller, they would at least be getting the equity. So the money that they're paying into their mortgage, they would be gaining equity. Everybody says, oh, well, what if prices crash? Well, you still have a place to live that has a fixed dollar amount per month. Okay? So what happens if the market crashes? Well, you just stay in your house a little bit longer. You just stay in that condo a little bit longer. But if you're not going to get a big windfall, you're never going to be able to afford more without utilizing equity and time in the market. So it's not right for everybody's situation. And I only advocate purchasing what you can afford realistically through ups and downs and what you have saved. But sometimes that means getting into something smaller, something less desirable, in order that you can utilize that equity to catapult you into the next bracket. So an example was I purchased a cottage, bought for $750. We fixed it up, lived in it for 2 years, and we sold it for $950. But because of what we had put down, because of the time that we had utilized that equity, all that money was paying down the mortgage. When it came time to sell, we had an extra $300,000 worth of equity that we were able to use as a down for something that was in a much higher price point. So sometimes you need to use what you've got in order to get you to where you want to be, but that doesn't necessarily mean saving $5 a month and throwing away all this money in rent. Sometimes that means buying something that you can use to catapult you. I'm on Loma Vista now. This is a slightly busier street, but if you'll notice, the streets themselves in this neighborhood are very quiet. And way up there, sorry for the janky camera work over here, but you can see those cows. It's almost like you're halfway between the city and the country, but really you're right here in the middle of town. It's just such a cool little spot. So anyway, I'll keep going over here. We'll take Regis up. As far as a buyer in this market, you're still going to have competition. This is California. People want to live here, especially in Ventura, right? Like I just showed you, we've got cows on the hillside and we've got surfers in the water. So you're in this beautiful location that is close to freeways. We're not that far from airports and big cities, but far enough to feel like you're in a hometown community. So if you're a seller in this market, my number one advice to you is don't get greedy. If you want to sell your house, sell it. Don't make an emotional decision. Don't try to control the market. Don't try to control the sale. Sell it. Choose an agent that you think is going to represent you well and get it done. Don't try to hang on to memories. Don't try to hang on to a certain price point. If you need to sell, sell it. Are there going to be buyers knocking down your door? Are there going to be multiple offers? I would say probably not, unless your agent has a very specific strategy in order to try to get you those things. But there are no guarantees. Tomorrow, something could happen and the buyers all scatter. I had a property come up right as everybody scattered. Okay, we did a lot of promotion, we did a lot of marketing, we had a lot of people that came and saw the property, but in the end, it was really just meant for one person. And that's who we sold it to, and we couldn't get emotional, couldn't hang on to, certain ideas of how we wanted it to be. We needed to be reasonable and sell the property. And thankfully, I have great clients who understood those facts. So, we could have held out and been obstinate, but in the end, the goal was to sell the property, so we sold the property. If you're an investor, are there deals to be had? Well, it's California. So you may overpay today, but it may pay off for you by tomorrow. The market here seems to only appreciate. So eventually you'll get your money back. But that said, I think as we continue towards spring, you're going to have the most competition. Probably not as much of a frenzy as last spring. I think you're going to have a slightly better position. But just keep watching, because there's going to be a random week, a random day when something comes on the market and nobody else is going to see it, and it's going to be meant for you. So just keep looking. If that means you make a lot more offers, then just make a lot more offers. Get out there. You're never going to buy something if you're not trying to buy something. People can analyze deals all day, but unless they're putting their money on the line, unless they're writing it on paper, it's never going to happen for you. Well, that is my President's Day weekend spiel. My thoughts on the market as of today, in this moment in time. So I hope you enjoyed this walk with me and that you have a lovely day.